I ride because it allows me to have the freedom I want. It can take me amazing places. It's allowed me to travel the world. It's allowed me to meet some incredible people and do some incredible things. And I think that is all because of riding a bike. I think that's a pretty special thing. Cycling for me was a bit of an odd thing that I kind of stumbled on, really. I moved over from England when I was about 12, 13, and sport is just far more ingrained in culture in New Zealand, so I really got into cycling and triathlon and things once I moved to New Zealand when I was 13, and just fell in love with cycling. Things started to progress pretty quickly from there. So about 3 years later, I won the first elite race, and that was down near Wellington. And it was at that point I really wanted to see where cycling could take me, it's just how far could I go with it. I signed my team over in Italy in, I think it was about October 2014. I was absolutely stoked. I couldn't wait. It's the start of my cycling career. So I was training really effectively in New Zealand summer, and I knew I was going to fly over in January to Sicily with the first team training camp. Training began, it was pretty hard. The hours were up, the intensity was up. But I think because I'd just come from New Zealand summer and the rest of these guys had been in winter for 2 months, I had a little bit of an advantage. So I was pretty happy with how I was going. About a week into the training camp, we were all pretty buggered. Me and half the team stayed behind. It was raining, and the rest of the team carried on and did another 7-hour ride. And it was just one of those days. It was like there was no way that was quite human. That was kind of when alarms started ringing. I suppose for me it was a bit more, something's not right here. Sure enough, the next morning we were around the dinner table, and I'm sitting at the end of the table with the team manager, and he pushes some pills across to the side of the table and says, these are your vitamins, you need to take your vitamins. I look at him and I'm like, okay, this isn't right. So I put these pills in my pocket and went back to the bedroom after breakfast and Googled the little code on the side of the pills. Every drug in the world's got like a little imprint of what it is basically on the side of it. And sure enough, the pills that he'd given me were testosterone. And that was when my world started to fall apart, I suppose. I remember putting the pills back in my pocket and just shoving them into the suitcase, and was like, oh God, what the hell am I going to do here? What situation have I got myself into? I'm in this position where I've got my absolute dream around me. I'm in a team in Italy, being paid to ride a bike. That is literally what I've been chasing for 4 years now. Or I can do something about this wrongdoing and potentially never do what I'm dreaming of again. I ended up gathering a lot of evidence myself. I managed to find quite a few things in the team house that was a little bit more full on than just the pills, so the vials, the needles, all this kind of thing. Next thing I know, I was on a plane back to the UK, and I thought cycling was kind of all over at that point. You lose a lot of your motivation, a lot of your kind of desire to do something because you feel like the sport almost owes you at that point. I ended up not riding for a few months, but quickly kind of clicked back onto the fact that riding is what I do, it's what I love, and why should I let someone take that away from me? So even after everything, I still love the sport. And I still really wanted to continue it. So I spent a few years fluttering between Europe and New Zealand, and I worked at Evolution Cycles, and it was amazing. They really understood that cycling was my passion, and I could kind of flitter between the two. I think that's pretty unique. Working in a bike shop, they understood that passion for bikes. Yeah, I suppose the journey changed me in a lot of ways, but I'm pretty thankful for that journey. And there are some pretty positive things that have come from it as well. I'm now an advocate with the UCI and WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Agency. So I work really hard with those two, UCI and WADA, for that athlete voice and for a safer, cleaner sport. I love cycling because it gives me the freedom and descending down hills really fast and the air flying through your face. It's such a buzz. It can take you to some amazing places. And it's how I deal with things as well, If I'd have a bad day at work, I'll ride a bike, and then some of the best days I've ever had are on a bike. It's just an amazing sport. The potential for taking you anywhere and doing anything is just huge.